Hello everyone, I am Emily from Harrisburg Library bringing you another yoga class today. This is not challenging per se, but if you are a beginner at yoga, we have a gentle class that was posted back in July on our Facebook page, so scroll back to find that. This one just has a few more poses and movements than that class did. If you don't have a yoga mat like I do, please feel free to use a blanket, a towel, or a stretch of carpet. A few considerations for today. If you have pain in your wrists, if we were to be in our tabletop position, this was hurting you, you can create fists for your wrists and keep it directly under your elbow, under your shoulder. If you have pain in your knees, then feel free to double up your mat, towel, what have you, so that you have some extra comfort under your knees in that position. There are a few times where we will be in a plank pose. If a full plank pose is not in your practice, that is a-okay, because sometimes it's not in mine. Feel free to come to a half plank pose where you're still holding your arms up, but you are on your knees. If at any time during the practice you need to take a rest, please feel free. You know your body best. You can come into a child's pose, an extended child's pose, where you bring your two big toes to touch, your knees as wide as your mat, and you will lower your chest to your mat and bring your arms out in front. So for any rest during the practice, feel free to come to child's pose. Today we will be starting in a standing mountain pose. So if you are already in your comfy clothes and you're ready to go, I'll meet you at the top of the mat. At the top of our mat, as we begin to align our bodies for our practice, our feet are hip width distance apart, and we are feeling as if we are pressing into all four corners of our feet. As we are contracting our thighs, we are raising our kneecaps up. We are tucking our tailbone down and lengthening up through the length of our spine all the way to our crown. Feeling as if there is a little string pulling our crown nice and tall, as if we could keep reaching higher and higher. Our arms are down at our sides, and our palms are spread wide. Our fingers are pointing down. We are reaching our fingers towards the floor and breathing. Closing our eyes, we'll take a big deep breath in through our nose, feeling our belly expand. And as you exhale, just release any tension in your body that you brought to the practice today. Inhaling again, and on your next exhale, release any of those wild thoughts running through your mind right now, keeping you busy and distracted. Inhaling again. And on this exhale, imagining that you can just release tension from any portion of your body where you feel it. Do a quick body scan and release any of that tension on your exhales. Inhaling through your nose and feeling your belly expand. And on this exhale, just breathe it all out and know that all is well right now. Before we begin to move and warm up our bodies, we will make the conscious choice to meet our bodies where they are today. We will let go of any judgment, any anger at our bodies if they can't stretch or reach or move. We will meet them where they are today. Fluttering those eyes open, let's step one of our feet back so we are facing the long edge of our mat here. To begin to set ourselves up for our moonflowers. Our toes are pointing out to opposite corners of our mat here, and we will inhale our arms up so we are in 5-pointed star. On our exhale, we're going to begin to squat, and as we do, we're bringing our elbows into our ribs. Looking down to make sure our knees don't go over our toes, we will inhale back up to our star. Exhaling down, squatting, checking those knees. Inhaling back up. Exhaling to bring our elbows to our ribs. Inhaling back up. Exhaling our elbows to our ribs and squatting. Inhaling back up. Flow this and breathe a few more times at your pace. Warming up those legs today. One more time. Inhaling to come down. Exhaling up. Releasing our arms down and stepping to the front of our mat. For our sunflowers pose, we will once again step all the way to the long edge of our mat, finding those toes pointed out. For sunflowers, we inhale our arms up, and as we exhale, we squat and shine our hearts down to the ground. Inhale to toss them back up. Let's try that again. As we exhale down, we will squat. Act as if you're scooping up flowers, and as you inhale, toss them up in the air. Exhaling down to squat, scoop up your flowers. Inhale to straighten those legs and toss those arms in the air. Exhale to squat down, catch those flowers. Inhale to toss them up. Have your heart center shine up. Exhale down to gather. Inhale up to let them go. Exhale down to gather. Inhale up and let them go. A few more times at your pace. Inhaling down. One more, inhaling to come down and exhaling to toss back up. Releasing our arms down and coming to the front of our mat. With our feet hip distance apart, we will do some swan dives, as we call them. We will inhale, circle, sweep those arms up. And as we exhale, we are going to bend our knees, hinge at our hips, and bring our heart center down to the tops of our thighs. Inhale to circle, sweep those arms back up. Reverse that swan dive. Our arms are up in extended mountain pose. And exhale to hinge at the hips, bend those knees, let your heart lead the way. Inhale to reverse that swan dive, circle, sweep your arms up to the top, extended mountain. Exhale to hinge at the hips, bend those knees, circle, sweep the arms down into a forward fold. Inhaling up, circle, sweeping, reversing that swan dive to extended mountain pose. One more time. Exhaling to swan dive forward, circle, sweeping your arms down. Forward fold. Inhaling to come back up. One more time this time. Inhaling our arms at the top and exhaling to forward fold. Heart leads the way, arms down. Planting our palms, step your right foot back into a plank, and then extending your left foot back into your full plank and press up into our first down dog of the practice. In this down dog, don't expect to reach your heels all the way to the mat. Pedal your feet out. Feel your ears next to your biceps. Your fingers spread nice and wide, and your tailbone reaching up to the sky. Pedaling those feet out. Bending those knees, let's slowly lower them down to our mat. Release your feet and relax your hips back onto your heels for child's pose. Remembering to feel our breath energizing us through our practice. Our breath fuels our movement. So with that, reaching your arms forward, inhale to bring yourself up onto all fours. This is where we will be in that tabletop position. So if you need your padding under your knees, I find it really nice. Go ahead and set yourself up for that. In our tabletop position, our knees are directly under our hips. Our fingers are spread wide with our wrists directly under our shoulders. Once again, remember, if you have wrist pain, create fists for wrists. I may switch back and forth between that. We have a neutral spine with our gaze just directly down. As we begin to move into cow pose, you are inhaling to drop the belly, shine the tailbone up to the sky, and look forward. Pressing up through your arms, pushing away from your mat. Exhaling to round your spine, round your belly up to your spine, and drop your head, your chin to your chest for cat pose. Inhaling once again to drop the belly, rounding down, looking forward. Exhaling to bring your navel to your spine, rounding up through your back, dropping your chin to your chest for cat pose. And inhaling to drop the belly, round the tailbone up, pushing away from your mat and looking forward. Flowing this a few more times to exhale to bring your navel to your spine and round your back. Inhaling to drop the belly, look forward. Exhaling to round the spine. And then releasing back into our child's pose. On your inhale, reach forward, coming back into our neutral spine position for our spinal balance. We will inhale and extend our left leg out. And if this is all that's in your practice today, that's fine. Otherwise, inhale your right arm out. Point your left toes down and your right thumb up, holding yourself using your core. Exhaling your back to your mat. Inhaling the right toes out and the left arm out. Thumb up to the sky, toes pointed down, exhaling down. A few more times on each side. Inhaling to reach that left leg back and right arm forward, stretching, and exhaling to the mat. Inhaling the right leg out and the left arm out, reaching and stretching, and exhaling back to the mat. One more time on each side. Inhaling the left leg out and the right arm out. Exhaling to release. Inhaling the right leg out and the left arm out, reaching and stretching, and exhaling to release. From here, we are going to begin a half series where we will be up in our plank pose. So walking your hands a bit forward so that you are in a plank pose with your knees. As we inhale in our plank, we will exhale to lower all the way down, halfway down with our elbows by our sides. Inhale to press back up and exhale to child's pose. Inhaling to reach forward into our half plank. Exhaling to come halfway down, elbows at your sides. Inhaling to press back up. Exhaling to child's pose. Inhaling to reach forward, back into our half plank. Exhaling halfway down, elbows at your side. Inhaling to come back up. And exhaling to press into child's pose. One more time after this. You can do it. Inhaling to reach our arms forward. Exhaling to lower halfway down. Inhaling to come back up and press back into child's pose. Inhaling to come forward. If you have created a little bolster with your mat, straighten that back out. From our neutral spine position, reach those arms, step those hands a few more inches up, curl those toes, and lift your hips up to the sky for down dog. Pressing it out, keeping your fingers spread wide and pressing all of your knuckles into your mat. Continuing to walk it out. And then looking forward, bend your knees. Walk all the way up to the front of your mat for your hands between your feet between your hands. Inhaling to reverse that swan dive and come all the way up into mountain pose, arms by our sides. As we come into our sun salutations, we will begin in our mountain pose, the top of our mat with our arms by our sides. Inhaling our arms up and exhaling to hinge at the hips and forward fold. Inhaling to step the right foot back and drop it to a low lunge. Exhaling that left knee back for a half plank. Exhaling all the way down, chin, chest to the floor. Inhaling up to our cobra. Exhaling down to curl those toes, lift our kneecaps, press up into our half plank, and lift into down dog. Inhaling to step our right foot forward between our hands. Exhaling our left foot forward to meet our right and forward fold. Inhaling to reverse that swan dive all the way up and exhaling to sit back into our chair pose. Inhaling our arms up and exhaling down. Inhaling our arms up to extended mountain and exhaling to hinge at the hips, swan diving forward, fold, planting our palms, stepping our left foot back and dropping our knee, bringing our right knee back to meet the left, and exhaling as we lower to the mat, belly, chest, and chin. Inhaling to bring just our heart center up off the mat, looking directly in front of us. Exhaling down to curl those toes, bring ourselves back up into half plank and lift into down dog. Inhaling to bring our left foot forward between our hands, dropping that right knee. Exhaling to bring the right leg up to meet our left and forward fold. Inhaling to circle, sweep our arms up to extended mountain, and exhaling into our chair. Inhaling our arms up and exhaling into mountain. Inhaling our arms up to extended mountain, and exhaling to hinge at our hips, swan dive, forward fold. Planting our palms, step your right knee back, dropping it down. Bringing the left knee back, dropping it down. Exhaling to lower all the way to the mat, belly, chest, and chin. Inhaling up to cobra. Exhaling down to curl our toes and lift up into our half plank, and then our hips to the sky for down dog. Inhaling our right foot forward between our hands. Exhaling our left foot forward to meet our right and forward fold. Inhaling to reverse that swan dive all the way up to extended mountain and exhaling into our chair. Inhaling up and exhaling to mountain. One more time on the left side. Inhaling our arms up to mountain and exhaling as we swan dive forward, bending our knees, bringing our palms to our mat. Inhaling to step the left foot back and dropping our knee. Exhaling to bring that right leg back on our half plank. Exhaling down all the way to the mat, belly, chest, and thighs. Inhaling to lift our heart center up for cobra. Exhaling down as we curl our toes, lift ourselves up into our half plank, and then all the way up into down dog. Inhaling to bring the left foot forward between our hands. Exhaling to bring the right up to meet the left and down in forward fold. Inhaling to reverse that swan dive. Exhaling into our chair and inhaling to mountain. We've really gotten ourselves warm and ready to go in our mountain pose. On an inhale, we will swim our arms around behind us to clasp our hands together for a chest expansion. We can simply stay right here, feeling this nice stretch across the front of our chest, remembering to breathe in and out and fill our belly. Inhale and release our arms forward back into mountain. Inhaling our arms up and exhaling as we swan dive down, hinging at the hips into forward fold, stepping one foot back and then the next and pressing up into down dog. From our down dog, let's bring our right foot forward between our hands. Lift all the way up. As we begin to prepare ourselves for our warrior one, our back foot is slightly pointing at a 45-degree angle. Our front foot is bent, our front knee is bent, and we will bring our arms up, inhaling overhead, keeping our hips facing forward, and with our arms overhead, our shoulders are relaxed down. Taking these full deep breaths to fuel our body. And then releasing our hands down to our mats and bringing our right foot back into down dog. In our down dog, we keep our fingers spread wide with our knuckles pressing into the mat. Our ears are next to our biceps, and we can continue to pedal out or bend our knees as deeply as we need. Bringing our left foot up between our hands for our second side warrior one, lifting ourselves up, 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 checking the alignment on that back leg before we lean in and bend our front leg. Our knees stay over our ankles and don't come past our toes as we inhale our arms overhead and keeping those shoulders nice and relaxed. Remembering to breathe and fuel ourselves and releasing our arms down to the mat and stepping back into down dog. For a second right side, bringing our right foot up to meet between our hands, lifting ourselves up for our warrior one with our toes pointed to the middle of the mat, if you want to call it that. Our front knee is bent, not going over our toes. We sweep our arms up on an inhale. And on an exhale, we're going to open our arms up to the long edge of our mat, turn our left foot to be facing the long edge of our mat with our toes pointed out. Our front foot is still facing the short edge of the mat. Our left foot is facing the long edge of the mat. Our right knee is bent. Our left leg is straight and we are in our warrior two. With our back foot, it is meeting in a line with our right foot. And we are inhaling our arms out to either side for our warrior two pose. In our warrior two, once again, we want to keep our arms stretching out side to side with our shoulders down and relaxed, feeling the energy reaching out from our body to either side. We are looking over our right arm, continually making sure we are keeping that right knee stacked over the right ankle. Flipping our front right hand up, inhale to bring it up and close to our right ear as we drop our left arm down our back leg for peaceful warrior. Exhaling to come back to warrior two. Taking a few deep breaths to energize ourselves in through the nose, out through the nose. And cartwheeling those arms down to the mat, planting our palms and stepping our right foot back into down dog. Bringing our left foot up in between our hands, rising up on an inhale, straightening that front leg, checking our back right leg. Is it strong and pointing to the top right corner of our mat? And when we have that, we can bend our front left knee, staying over our ankle, inhaling our arms up, relaxing those shoulders down for warrior one, and taking a deep breath in. On an exhale, opening up to the long edge of your mat for warrior two on the other side. Your left toes are pointed to the short edge of your mat. Your right toes are pointed to the long edge of your mat, and you feel as if there was a line between your left foot and your right foot. As you check your alignment of your left knee over your left ankle, inhaling those arms to come out to either side, reaching and looking over the left hand. Standing strong in this pose and feeling the heat in our legs that we've been building up through our entire practice. Flipping that left hand up, inhaling, dropping that back arm, and coming into peaceful warrior. We should feel a nice stretch in the left side of our body with our right arm down our right leg. Inhaling to come back to warrior two for a few more breaths. And cartwheeling those arms down, palms to the mat. Stepping that left foot back and then lowering on our knees to child's pose. Inhaling to come up into our tabletop position, bringing those hands a few paces forward, curling our toes, and exhaling to lift our hips up into down dog. Continuing to pedal those feet out if this is a new practice for you, or bending those knees and bringing the belly close to the thighs. Looking forward with bent knees, slowly walk all the way up to meet your feet to your hands and forward fold. Bending the knees in this position as much as needed. Inhaling to come all the way up, reversing that swan dive, and exhaling to mountain. To begin our balancing pose of the practice, I'm going to step to the long edge of the mat so you can see what I'm doing. With our feet hip distance apart, we can turn the right foot out and bring it to rest with just our big toe on the mat. If this is where we are for our tree pose today, that's perfectly okay. If we think we can hold ourselves up with our foot on our calf, that's great. If we want to go all the way up with our foot to our inner thigh, that's great too. If you need something to hold on to in our tree pose, please feel free to grab a chair. Once we find our foot position on floor, calf, or inner thigh, bringing our arms to our heart center, finding a spot to focus on in front of you, feeling strong in that standing leg and pressing our standing leg into our foot, breathing deeply. If you want, feel free to bring your arms up to be your tree branches. If your branches sway, that's okay. And exhale to release. Step that left foot up, roll it around, roll your ankle around one side and then the other way to stretch it out. Maybe curl those toes under, give it a nice little stretch, walk it out a little bit, get ready for second side. Bringing our feet hip width distance apart again. Turn that left foot out, bring your big toe to the mat, find your position. Big toe on the mat, on your calf or inner thigh. Find that spot, bring your hands to heart center, or your branches up if that's in your practice. Taking those big deep breaths, finding that spot to focus on, and feeling very strong and rooted in our right leg today. If we fall out of our tree, it's a-okay. We can press ourselves back up into it. Remembering to breathe and not harp on ourselves too much for where we may be today. Exhaling to release down, lifting that right foot, rolling the ankle around one way, and reversing that circle, walking it out a little bit, and then finding ourselves at the top of our mat, once again in mountain pose. Inhaling to reach our arms up overhead and exhaling to swan dive forward. Heart leads the way into forward fold. Planting the palms, step one foot back, lowering the knee to low lunge, and then that second foot back, lowering the knee, and releasing our hips into child's pose. In child's pose, when we have our forehead on the mat, we can feel free to give ourselves a little massage by rolling our forehead from side to side. It feels really nice. Try it out. Inhaling to come up and swing your legs around one side or the other, whichever is easiest for you, to come into a seated position. In our seated position, bringing our legs out long in front of us, we will prepare for a seated spinal twist. For a seated spinal twist, let me set myself up here. We're going to first bend our right knee with our left leg out long. Wrap that left arm around your right knee. Bring that right arm behind you on the mat and begin to rotate from the bottom of your spine all the way up to the crown of your head to look behind you. Don't force yourself to twist any farther than is comfortable. Just find a nice, gentle twist today. Breathe deep into your belly. Remembering to reach the crown of the head nice and tall. And on an exhale, we will unravel and stretch that right leg out long. Bringing the left foot to the mat with our right leg out long. Wrap the right arm around the left leg. Swim that left hand behind us and begin to twist from the bottom of your spine up. Don't force anything. Just look right over your left shoulder and breathe nice and deep into your belly. You should feel a nice stretch along your right side ribs as you do this. Unravel, release, and stretch those legs out nice and long. Bring those feet to the floor, your soles of your feet to the floor, just in line with your glutes and a couple hands lengths away. As we begin to lean back onto our tailbone, we will grab behind our thighs to get ready for boat pose. Slowly lean back onto your tailbone and bring one foot up, If you can only do one, that's fine. Or bring both feet up to balance with our spine nice and long, no crinkles in the back of your neck, reaching long and tall out of the crown of your head, holding yourself up with your hands still behind your thighs. If you can only do one leg at a time, that is a-okay. Feeling ourselves hold steady with our core here. Breathing. And then as we release, bring the soles of your feet together for butterfly pose. Our feet are together about 1 foot's distance away from our body. Hold on to your ankles in this position. Don't try to hold on and pull in any sort, form, or fashion. You could, even if you feel like it right now, reach down and give yourself a nice little foot massage on either side with your thumbs. If you're ready, holding onto those ankles, sitting up nice and tall, long through our spine. Inhaling to sit up tall and exhaling to bow forward, bringing our heart to our feet. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to bend. Not forcing ourselves to go any farther than our hips and thighs can take today. Being proud and okay with where we are. Inhaling to come back up, planting the soles of the feet on the mat again, reaching behind our thighs, leaning back on our tailbone and lifting our feet again for boat pose. Breathing deeply into our core, feeling it hold us steady in this position, reaching the crown of our head long. Breathing deep, just a few more breaths here. If you feel like it, reaching our arms out long alongside our shins. One more breath in and exhale to release, bringing the soles of the feet together for butterfly, holding onto our ankles, inhaling to reach up and exhaling to bend forward. Inhaling to come back up, stretching those legs out long in front of you. Hold on to your right hamstring as we begin to lower ourselves down to our mat. Hold on to that right hamstring as you slowly roll all the way down on your mat, all the way through your spine. If your feet come up off the floor, that's okay. Once we're on our back, we are finding our positioning on our mat, bringing the soles of the feet to the ground. As we come in, prepare for a bridge pose, bring the soles of our feet in line with our glutes, placing our palms face down on the mat. As we inhale, we will begin to press our hips to the sky, rolling up through our spine and coming onto the tops of our shoulder blades. Not letting our legs splay out side to side, pressing up firmly through our feet, and exhaling to release down, slowly rolling down your spine. A few more times. Inhaling to press up through the feet, lifting the hips to the sky, all the way to the top of the shoulder blades. And exhaling to release, rolling down our spine. One more time, inhaling to press our hips up, coming up to the tops of our shoulder blades. Exhaling to roll down. As we come into our final relaxation for our practice, we are going to stretch our legs out long, letting our feet fall open to either side. As we bring our arms out, open to our sides, our palms are open, our fingers aren't clenched and stiff and straight anymore. We can wiggle our shoulder blades all the way underneath us, making any small last minute adjustments. If we feel we're clenching in our thighs or our feet, we'll relax it. As we begin to close our eyes, Release all those little muscles in your face, all the ones around your eyes and your forehead, going as far as unclenching our jaw and releasing our tongue from the roof of our mouth, beginning to let our breath come naturally as we soak up all of the awesome stuff that this practice just brought for our bodies. Letting our breath once again just come naturally, relaxed, and quietly. As we begin to invite a little movement back into our quiet bodies, we can do this by slowly wiggling those toes and those fingers and reaching those arms up and overhead as if we're taking a nice stretch in the morning, pointing those toes, reaching those fingers, wiggling from side to side, finding what feels good for our bodies. And then rolling onto whichever side is comfortable to you, coming onto the side into a fetal position with our bottom arm as a pillow and our top arm with our palm on the ground. Taking a breath here, keeping our eyes closed as we use that top arm to push ourselves all the way up into a seated position. Coming with our legs crossed and our eyes still closed, we can bring our hands to the tops of our thighs with our shoulders nice and relaxed after that practice. Taking a few deep breaths here together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time together. In through the nose and out through the mouth. As you flutter your eyes open, I hope that you take the good stuff from this practice and use it for the rest of your day. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, please contact the library. And as one of my favorite local yoga teachers says, off of your mat and into the world you go. Bye, everyone. I hope you have a great rest.